And then France has actually named a very strong, pretty much the strongest team possible up against Namibia this weekend. Obviously, their disappointing performance against who was it? Uruguay was hammered by the French locals. So they have to put out a big performance this weekend. But then again, I think you're risking probably injuries a little bit too much, especially players. I really don't think you need to put on like Antoine Dupont and Damien Penaud in this game and maybe especially Jonathan Danty if he's not 100%. I really don't know why they're doing this, but France has left a pretty strong team. With Jonathan Danty come back from injury, and then and also big return to Cyril Bay, the loose air prop. He's a really big for the French loose forward. Again, I really don't know why they're risking him in a game that is like really not important. They need him for the quarterfinals. They need him to be healthy. I don't know why they have him on the field at all. Especially I know it's a bit of an overkill. Same with Antoine Dupont. You don't need him on the field. Ramos as well, don't need him on the field. Like if any of these players gets injured, it's a much bigger loss than blowing the opposition out by 100 points. That's scoring 100 points, right? Like it's just not really that worth it. Yeah. So yeah, where am I? So yeah, the worst has happened. Literally the worst possible results has happened. France versus Namibia. Didn't even get to the 100 points that they were looking at, right? And Antoine Dupont walked off the field just after halftime with a suspected jaw injury. He was in a lot of pain. He was literally crying. And I think he's crying because he knew that his Rugby World Cup is probably over. He probably felt something pop on his jaw. Normally, if you have a head concussion, you wouldn't be crying because you'd just be feeling a bit woozy. You might get a headache. It's a completely different feel to having a broken jaw. And I think Antoine Dupont know that he had something really bad popped in there. So he was taken off the field after a head collision with the Namibia captain, who was red carded subsequently. But that's the red card is really not gonna be enough. Like it really not enough to justify the loss that the French is going to be potentially looking at. So he went to hospital for a scan. I waited a few hours now. There's still no actual update from exactly what the seriousness of the injury is. It's been like 3 hours, 4 hours since the game was played. So you guys can let us know the updates in the comments below if it's the first, if it's when it comes out. But if Dupont has a broken jaw, it could be 3 weeks or more. And and that's really just the last thing the French want. This is a bigger loss than Romain Ntamack, because Romain Ntamack, as much as people say how good he is, Antoine Dupont is the actual playmaker for the French team. The entire French team plays around Antoine Dupont, plays around his kicking game, plays around his organizational skills, his leadership skill. He's also the captain, and his decision making. Everybody plays around that. He enables the wingers. He enables the kicking game. He enables all the weapons in the French team. Without him, Maxime Koulou is just another halfback. He's not going to be able to do any of that stuff that Antoine Dupont brings to the table. And like I said in the preview, this was completely unnecessary. This was Fabien Galtier. Massive miscalculation. And a massive risk that was completely unnecessary. If he wanted his players to stay, match fit, he could just bring him on for the last 20 minutes. Bring Antoine Dupont for the last 20 minutes, or have him taken off at halftime when the French was leading 53 points to 0. But he wanted to get the 100 points, man. He wanted to get 100 points to show the world how good the French team is at beating Namibia. And at what cost is the question. And this is really, Fabien Galtier has been so good for the French team. Have been very, very good building depth, building up his teams. Building up training his team, getting them to win Grand Slams over the years. He took over in 2019, and to just miscalculate so massively heading into the quarterfinals is just, I'm actually really baffled. I'm really, really baffled. And this is worse than the All Blacks incident with Ethan de Groot, because Ethan de Groot actually is going to be able to play in the quarterfinals and he's not injured. It's just a suspension. And this is, Dupont's injury means that he's probably not going to be able to even do much in training. So it's not just that. It's so that his qualities, his leadership, what he brings to the team off the field as well, it's not going to even be there for the French. So yeah, this could be the end of the road for the French Rugby World Cup dreams if Antoine Dupont is to miss for the rest of the Rugby World Cup. And if in fact, if Antoine Dupont is to miss out the rest of the Rugby World Cup, I will say the Rugby World Cup dream is over for the French. There's no way they're going to win the Rugby World Cup. There's no way they can beat the Springboks. There's no way they can beat Ireland in the quarterfinals. That's that without Antoine Dupont. That's just the way it is. That is unfortunate, but that is just the reality. There's no way. And it's basically you put all your eggs in one basket, and now that basket is, the bottom of the basket has fallen out. Like there is no salvage in that situation. That's yeah. It is unbelievable what has occurred, and yeah, it's really unfortunate. And the match, yeah, I mean, 96 points to nil. 14 tries to the French, 851 run meters to 408, and turnover conceded. This is wrong again. So a lot of you guys were saying that these stats are wrong from Rugby Australia. These stats actually pulled straight from the Rugby World Cup website. See, for 851, everything is pulled straight from the Rugby World Cup website. The reason why the turnover conceded is incorrect is because World Rugby don't seem to know how turnover conceded is supposed to work. So if you look at the stats here, turnovers 1, 8, and 3. Turnovers 1 own half, so like inside your own half, is 10. So how you are able to get more turnovers in your own half, more than the total number of turnovers. So for some reason, World Rugby says there's 8 turnovers in total, and there's 10 in the team's own half. I don't know how math works, but I'm pretty sure that's not how math works. And also, turnovers 1 opposition half is 7. So the French have a total of 17 turnovers, not 8. So where did this number 8 come from? I have no idea. Okay? I actually have no idea how they got that. So that's how they get 17. So it is 17. But then again, I just genuinely don't know how this is possible. Namibia won 18 turnovers in the French half. What? I genuinely don't know how that's even possible. And that cannot possibly be correct. But apparently that is correct. That's according to rugby, according to World Rugby, that is the stat. So yeah, go figure, guys. Go figure. So that is the turnover stats apparently. Yeah, anyway, let's move on. So the tackles made, 129 for the French, 13 missed tackles. This is all kind of a bit academic now. I think everything is, it really comes down to Antoine Dupont's injury. But yeah, Namibia, 63 tackles made, 32 missed tackles. Again, another turnovers 1 here. That's the turnovers conceded. Again, yeah, I don't know it anyway. Anyway, I don't know what's going on with these numbers. If you guys know how these numbers work, let me know. But yeah, I still don't know. Maybe there's a translation error that the turnovers 1 is actually turnovers conceded, and then it includes knock-ons. That's the only way that this could make sense. That these turnovers are actually include knock-ons, and these turnovers are actually turnovers at the breakdown. That's the only way that this could make sense, right? And then this is not just turnover 1 you have, but this is turnovers lost. And that will make more sense. But anyway, Thomas Ramos' goal kicking has been quite good. Only missed 1 this game. Really starting to show that his talents. And I obviously they have Malvin Jaminet as well who can kick, so it's not really a big issue. A really good cover there. So 30 kicks in the game. The one kind of bright thing out of this game, I will talk about it in a bit. The Rocks won, lost. whatever. Lineouts, there was a lot of lineouts of the French, 19. And they did have a couple of lineouts that were kind of bit iffy, but overall, there was, if you have the 19 lineouts, there's a couple iffy ones. It's a bit understandable. Namibia was under a lot of pressure in lineouts, lost 3 of their throws out of 7. And then they had the scrummaging as well. The French was a bit more stronger than Namibia, as you kind of expect. And this is something that the French did really well. The penalty count really kept that under control. Only 4 penalties conceded in this game. Not 12, like the All Blacks did against Namibia. Namibia conceded 13 themselves, and just 1 red card, the yellow card that was upgraded into a red card later on. So, like I said, this is actually a bit of a disaster for the French team. Not a bit of this is actually a massive disaster for the French team. I guess the good news is that Bieri showed a lot of prominence. He set up a lot of tries. He was in position for a lot of tries, and and then he was really probably the most prominent player on the field. Showed just so much promise. That's probably the only positive out of the French performance this week. Like true, real positive. This really just showed that he's like also the youngest player in Rugby World Cup as well. So a lot of bright futures ahead for Bieri, the young winger. Don't know what else to say, man. It's Fabien Galtier allowed the media to get into his head and made a poor decision to put on his superstar team, and now he's got a broken toy in the hospital, waiting waiting to know the future of French rugby. And it is just the way it is. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later for more content. Cheers.